So recently I had an idea. I wanted to spend 100 days in Legendary Mode Terraria. I recently found out about this game mode, so I'm curious how it is. I don't know anything about it. So without further ado, let's start the video. Day 1 was your typical Terraria start. Chop some trees and start working on your base. Yeah, I'm not really good at building, so I'm just gonna use wood and nothing else for now. Even though I beat this game few times on Master Mode, I still believe I'm a very shit player. After dying for a few times as a pig I am, I decided it's time to go into caves. I found so much amazing loot such as agelet and agelet. After acquiring some basic minerals I went back to surface. But it's dark now and last thing I wanna do is fight zombies now, so I spent whole night instead making a basement. On day 2 merchant moved in. I got myself a bug net, that way I can catch some fishing baits. Other than that I made a full iron armor, so I felt confident enough to explore Crimson biome. But yeah, to no one's surprise that place is very dangerous, so I just backed off instead. I was back to caves again, but everything is so OP, like salamanders one-shot me, even if I have an armor. Afterwards I made something I like to call a flower tower, because that's where I'm gonna grow my herbs from now on. I need those potions as soon as possible. I was back in caves again. And I already found my first pinky slime, but my only weapon is spear and that makes the fight so much slower than it has to be. So the fight dragged all the way to day 3. Because Pinky dropped so much gold, I was able to buy myself a forest pylon. I don't really have anything special to say about the day 3, it was just more mining and dying. Actually Blood Moon started during night time, but I can't fight it guys, I'm too weak. But I did get myself enough tungsten to make a full armor and some tools, so that was pretty nice. On day 4 I used gravity potion to explore Sky Islands, but there was no luck, I just found one empty island. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, I was back in caves again, but I wanna keep it short and simple. At one point I died to a salamander, but my grave actually killed him and he dropped me a yo-yo called a rally I think. But yeah, as I said, more mining, that's it. At least Terraria is somewhat a decent weapon for this stage of the game. With my current gear setup, I felt more confident on exploring the map, but sadly Crimson was still a big cancer. On the other hand, right side of the map was much more friendly. I actually managed to loot few chests, but nothing special. When it got dark I started decorating my base. I made a small fighting platform and new day started. On day 6 I added few more rooms so new NPCs can move in. At this point I had around 700 iron ores. And what's the best way to spend that, you might wonder? Well, by making 100 buckets. Because basically that's budget friendly bottomless water bucket. That way I can make fishing ponds relatively quickly. Afterwards I started working on a small mob grinder, just in case a new blood moon starts anytime soon. And that's it for day 6. By day 7 mob grinder was complete, and next project on list was bigger arena, because soon it's time to fight Eye of Cthulhu. Afterwards I wanted to explore right side of the map a bit further, but let's just say that I lost motivation for no particular reason. So I went back to mines, but nothing important was found. On day 8 I continued mining until I got myself Hermes boots and enough Crimtane ores for a new sword and a fishing rod. At this point I had 200 max HP, so Eye of Cthulhu invaded me. I wasn't really sure what I could expect from this fight, and actually Eye of Cthulhu wasn't all that hard to beat. I mean, it is the first boss after all. At one point it spawned so many little eyes that it kinda became a problem, but luckily this new Crimtane sword helped me a lot. And just like that I have my first boss relic placed. With Blood Butcher and Shield of Cthulhu, I was ready to take on Crimson biome again. I mean sure I died a couple of times, but I actually stood a chance now. Goal of this expedition was to destroy 2 Crimson Hearts. After that I continued my journey towards the ocean biome. There was actually a small desert on this side, so that's where I decided to make a small outpost. And now for the reason why I'm here, and that's of course to meet the angler. That's good news, because fishing quests are available for me now. On day 10 I completed the first angler quest. Sadly I can only do one quest per day. Oh, and also arms dealer moved into that desert outpost, so now I can have a pylon here for a quick travel. And afterwards I explored right side of the map. Because yeah, you guessed it, I wanted to make another outpost in the jungle. But I barely made any progress because nighttime jungle is very dangerous. On day 11 I reached end of the jungle biome. That was perfect spot for the jungle outpost. Soon after Dryad moved in, and this lets me buy another pylon. Now I can basically travel on both sides of map much faster. When I reached ocean biome, for some reason king slime spawned. I didn't even know that that could happen. Sadly I died because it was difficult terrain to fight on. During night time I went into underground desert. And let me tell you guys, there's just too many creatures spawning here. I think mob spawns are increased in legendary mode, I'm not really sure. But who knows, maybe it's just my copium, I'm too lazy to check it out. On day 12 Angler gave me a quest to fish in Sky Islands. Harpies are cancer and reaching Sky Island without potion proved to be really annoying. After that I was back in underground desert. Because I still didn't find best statue and ancient chisel. But you know what I found instead? Death. On day 13 I buffed myself with mining potions. That helped a bit in my desert shenanigans. Eventually I found best statue which increases my defense points when I'm near it. I gave up on finding ancient chisel. For now. My next destination was underground jungle, which is arguably even more dangerous. Eventually I found a shotgun and then I got invaded by Goblin army. Goblin army was defeated without any issues. Somehow I didn't die a single time. Anyways, I spent rest of the day in underground jungle. I didn't find any nice accessories or weapons, but I do have 300 max HP now. Oh, and I switched my tungsten armor for full platinum armor. On day 15 I found Goblin Tinkerer, and I got enough materials to craft Blade of Grass. It's definitely my favorite melee weapon for this stage of game. Killing regular monsters is super easy with this sword. Because of Goblin Tinkerer I was able to upgrade some accessories. Flower Tower also had to be expanded a little bit due to unlocking new type of herbs. I got not much to say about day 16, it was pretty boring day. I found Feral Claws though. They increase my melee swing speed, it's just what I need. Now I actually have everything for next boss fight. Beside Crimson Arena of course. So I spent rest of the day building one. And that took entire day, mainly because I suck. On day 17 I tried to fight Brain of Cthulhu, but I got shit on pretty quickly.
I trust my wife.
That's when I remembered that good old Chinese saying.
如果你在 boss 战中失败了，就扩大你的竞技场。
Yeah, fight was much easier now, and then second phase came. It turns out that's when Brain flips all the gravity, and I basically died to fall damage. Okay, note to self, don't fight second phase in open area. At least Brain dropped enough tissue samples that I was able to make a new pickaxe which lets me mine Hellstone now. Which brings me to day 18. I spent whole day mining Hellstone and crafting Hellstone tools and armor. Honestly now I can fight Brain of Cthulhu, but nah, let's do something chill for a change. And that's how the new building project started. I needed a lot of sand for this build. And placing down torches to collect sand is so satisfying, just look at this. After placing sand for whole day, Blood Moon started. Unlike last time, I'm way too OP for this event now. It was a nice way to earn some coins, because Inferno Sword one-shots everything. I used those coins to reforge Inferno Sword and some accessories. By the night time I finally finished the build. It's a Sky Island oasis, if you couldn't tell. I mean, does it have some function? Not really. But I really wanted to build something for a change. Afterwards, I summoned Eye of Cthulhu to test out how OP my new setup is. On day 21 I tried to fight Brain of Cthulhu again. Phase 1 was fought outside and phase 2 inside, because of that gravity change. I got smoked in second phase. I didn't even last a minute in there. So I spent rest of the day looking for life crystals and cloud in a bottle. In the morning Slime Rain started. And fighting King Slime was very easy now. That's another relic added to collection. I still needed a couple of heart crystals to max out HP, but that was the second best thing I did today, because of course there was an ancient chisel in one of the desert chests. At this point I had a lot of desert fossils to extract, 650 to be more exact, and extracting those bad boys took me whole night. Next day I tried to fight Brain again. Somehow my performance was even worse this time. But what if Skeletron is easier than Brain in Legendary Mode? I mean, I had nothing to lose technically, because I can summon him every night for free, right? Yeah, no, I'm not even surprised, honestly. I guess I'll just kill some Eye of Cthulhu's to farm coins instead. Next morning I basically expanded platforms and I wiped out the dungeon on the surface. Maybe this will make fight easier. You know what? It's been 20 days since I last explored Sky Islands. Maybe this is the answer to my struggles. But my mood was quickly ruined. It turns out that sky chests are locked with keys on Legendary Mode. But you need to kill Skeletron to be able to obtain those keys. I didn't even know what to do next, I was lost. Everything felt hopeless. Should I just quit the challenge instead? Hell no! It's time to grind out better accessories and potion ingredients. And to make this even better, it was raining for a whole day, which makes fishing even more efficient. At least I think so. It was showtime, Brain has to die today, I don't care. Okay, fuck that, I'll just fish for more money instead. For day 27 my note says, bought mini shark, okay fine, having fun with king slime, yep, and most important, having fun mining hole with ancient chisel and mining buffs. In fact, I liked it so much that I continued mining hole on next day. This is unedited mining speed by the way, you gotta admit it's kinda satisfying. And during night I summoned Blood Moon to farm more money and vertebras. I needed them to summon Brain of Cthulhu. I got 80 pieces by end of the night. That's a lot in my opinion. On day 29 Angler gave me a quest which was located in desert biome. I guess that Sky Island Oasis is not that useless after all. Later I spent some of the gold coins to buy dynamites. What if expanding Underground Crimson Arena is key to defeating Brain of Cthulhu? Boy, I was actually right. Finally some progression in this challenge. In fact, it was so easy that I killed Brain 2 more times on day 30. It's time to chill a bit from all the boss fighting. Suddenly, I had an autistic urge to start flattening left side of the map. But I still had to try and fight Skeletron during night time. Who knows, maybe he's easy to kill now. Whatever, I'll just destroy this big mountain to feel a bit better. Day 31 was very similar to yesterday, more flattening and of course failing to kill Skeletron. But then I remembered something. I have a slime mount which is very good for vertical jumping. This made me very excited for the next attempt. Oh, and meteorite fell. Of course I had to mine out the entire thing. On day 32 I started working on Jungle Arena. You know, to fight Queen Bee. But this is harder than it looks, because jungle spawns are so high and monsters kept distracting and killing me over and over again. And then I got shit on by Queen Bee. I didn't even stand a chance. Who cares, moment of truth is here. Is slime mount what I was missing the entire time? Well, this made Skeletron fight much easier. I still died though. I'm not even mad because it's just skill issue at this point, I just have to get better. On day 33 I placed a lot of walls in Jungle Arena, because that apparently decreases monster spawns. After summoning Queen Bee I recalled back by accident. That is very bad because she's enraged now. I tried to fight her one more time, and I was actually so close to defeating her. Ah fuck it, I'll just kill Skeletron instead. Ah fuck it, I'll just kill Queen Bee instead. Next morning I crafted new armor penetration accessory, and I tried to fight Queen Bee again. Twice.
Another one.
Afterwards I made a new yo-yo weapon. In my past experiences, yo-yos are very effective against Skeletron, so I tried the fight one more time. Day 35 was the dungeon day. This is easily one of the most unfun parts of Terraria, and when we combine this with Legendary Mode, it's just so frustrating, you know? After a whole day of monkeying around, the only useful thing I found was Cobalt Shield. On day 36 I completed enough fishing quests that now I officially owned full angler armor. It's great stuff for fishing. Nevertheless, my dungeon grind wasn't over yet. I still didn't find all the things I need. After another 15 minutes of painful grinding, there it was, Muramasa. It's just the sword that I needed. While Muramasa in itself is a decent melee weapon, it's not what I'm gonna use it for. Of course, I turned it into Knight's Edge with other swords I obtained earlier in the run. After spending fortune on reforging it, I was back in the dungeon for Alchemist table. Knight's Edge is so broken that it turned the dungeon into child's play. I just have to hold left click and that's it. On the morning of the next day I found Alchemist table. That means I'm done with the dungeons for quite some time now. Also, I had plenty of NPCs to make a new outpost in Snow Biome, and it was pretty chill day, no pun intended. And of course I added a lot of rooms in original base, because I have a feeling that a lot of NPCs can move in now. And that brings me to day 38, because one of the NPCs that can be found now is Tavern Keeper. He can be spawned anywhere in the world after Brain of Cthulhu is defeated, so finding him proved to be kind of annoying. I checked surface area of entire world and he was nowhere to be seen, but hey, at least Mechanic moved in, and now I was able to buy quite a decent fishing rod. And since it was raining again, I spent the rest of the day fishing. In fact, I found so many crates that I was surprised. That fishing rod is definitely paying off already. There is not much to be said about day 39. I spent whole day flattening Crimson Biome and I found Tavern Keeper in the meantime. Because of Tavern Keeper, now I'm able to summon the old army. It's basically a tower defense minigame where I have to defend Crystal from both sides. It's not that hard to beat it with Knight's Edge, even though it took me like what, whole day and 3 attempts to do so. On day 41 I officially flattened the entire Crimson Biome. And now next on the list is Snow Biome. But not today, because my autistic urge to flatten things are temporarily satisfied. Also, I would like to mention that today's fishing quest reward was Bottomless Water Bucket. It's always nice to get one of those. Day 42 was another simple day where I spent the entirety of day flattening Snow Biome. It took around 20 minutes to do so, and it was worth it in my opinion, because next boss on my fighting list is Deerclops. In order to fight Deerclops, I need to grab a couple of flinks first for a summoning item. Wow, this was kinda hard to pronounce, I don't know why. Anyways, this boss is kinda considered as a joke in Terraria community, due to its simplistic AI and attacks. And of course that didn't stop me from dying twice. And that actually doesn't even matter, because Deerclops is only boss in the game that doesn't despawn when you die. So yeah, technically this is the easiest boss in Terraria. Afterwards I went in Underworld to farm some guide voodoo dolls. It turns out that you don't really have to farm voodoo dolls in Legendary Mode, because I spent whole day building a bridge for Wall of Flesh fight, and in the meantime I got 17 voodoo dolls. It was time to test out Wall of Flesh fight on day 45. Yeah, I died straight away. It's fine though, because I don't really wanna enter hard mode until I make 2 large air pockets around my base. You know, so corruption doesn't spread in hard mode, due to its increased spread rate. But little did I know how time consuming this thing was. Job wasn't completed by end of the day. And the next day the job was finished. Now it's time to kill Wall of Flesh, which, spoiler alert, turned out to be the hardest fucking thing to do in this playthrough. Sorry for cursing. I just die immediately. No wonder they increased voodoo doll drop rates. I spent the rest of the day farming coins, which are needed to reforge gear for full defense stats. Maybe that helps. On day 47 I found Helving Bow, which is a really good weapon for Wall of Flesh, but that didn't help either. I had another idea, which was very stupid now that I look back into it. And that's of course farming bee nades, because apparently they are very effective against Wall of Flesh. I fought Queen Bee 9 times in total during days 47 and 48. Do you remember how I said that I'm done with the dungeon for a while? Yeah, well, I lied. Handgun is important drop that we still need from dungeon, because I switched from melee to ranged class. I did that to make B-nades a bit more effective, and to get a bit warmed up with the class, I killed a couple of Brain of Cthulhu's. Today is day 50, which is kinda supposed to be important day, because we are halfway done with the challenge. Ironically enough, this day was boring as shit. For the next 2 days I tried to find the imp statue. That's like finding a needle in a haystack. There were so many statues around the world, but none of them were what I was looking for. Honestly, this was a very big waste of time. There was no way that I would search through entire underground for one imp statue, so I was back to expanding Wall of Flesh bridge. Okay, so the next few days were all basically the same, so instead of me repeating myself, I will just show you one montage of all my struggles.
Another one.
I have a confession to make. After taking a break for a few days, I was back to deal with Wall of Flesh. But I did a bit of cheating, sorry guys. You see, I created a new world where I found imp statues straight away. That way I can farm big amounts of imps for banners. Thankfully, because of Night of Edge, all I had to do was hold left click for 20 minutes. And that's how I got a lot of imp banners. In case some of you don't know, when you stand next to a banner, creatures of that banner type deal less damage and they take more damage from you. And since Wall of Flesh spawns shit ton of imps in Legendary Mode, this helped a lot. I still died though, but fight is very doable now. On day 59 I fought Wall of Flesh couple of times. Finally the wall was defeated and now we officially entered in hard mode. There was still some time left today, so I destroyed all the altars in Crimson biomes. That way new hard mode ores can spawn. I spent entirety of day 60 mining all hard mode ores. In the end I had enough to craft full adamantite armor and tools. Beginning of day 61 was very boring. I was basically collecting moss and then Destroyer attacked me. To no one's surprise he destroyed me straight away, no pun intended. Afterwards, I started mining huge area for an underground mob farm. I do gotta point out that these bricks crafted with moss look very nice. And Destroyer attacked me again on day 62. Of course, outcome of the fight was the same. Next morning I farmed Goblin Scouts until I had enough cloth to summon the Goblin army. Because in hard mode Goblin Warlock starts spawning, and he drops a really nice melee weapon that I want to obtain. It was a very hard event. And sadly I only got 2 magic weapon drops that aren't really useful for my setup. And the next day natural generated Goblin army invaded me. I guess you can say I died a couple of times again. But it was worth it. One of the Warlock drops was Shadow Flame Knife. After reforging it, I went into snow caves for yet another melee weapon I wanted to obtain. And of course that's a nice sickle. But farming this thing proved to be very hard, especially because turtles one-shot me, even though I have a full tank setup. During day 65 I grinded for Ice Sickle, but still no luck. And then during night Blood Moon began. There is a small chance for clowns to drop Banana Rank, a very decent melee weapon for this stage of game. But of course no luck here either. On day 66 I finally got Icicle. Seems like a very cool weapon. But oh my god, the amount of money I spent on reforging it. No wonder everyone hates Goblin Tinkerer in this community. Now that I have two decent melee weapons for this stage of game, it's only logical to go for the wings next. In my opinion, fairy wings are the ones to go for. Unfortunately for me, naturally generated Halo biome is very small. So I had to expand it myself so pixies could start spawning regularly. By the night time I was done with spreading. Now it's time to farm them. All I have to say is that I hate gastropods from now on. Very annoying creatures. During day of 68 I got enough pixie dust for fairy wings. But I'm still missing souls of light which are dropped from wyverns. They were also kind of a threat because of amount of damage they deal. Although it's kinda funny how fucking turtles deal more damage in this game than giant dragons. After getting that sweet pair of fairy wings, I went on a mission to find a shimmer biome. That way I can slightly boost my damage and life regeneration by shimmering couple of items and accessories. Today I tried to fight Queen Slime. For some weird reason she despawned the first time. Second attempt wasn't too bad either, I just have to practice a bit. Later I went into Underground Crimson to farm Ichor and Souls of Night. One of the mimics I killed there dropped me a Titan Glow. That's a very useful item for melee class. Surely fighting a destroyer won't be a problem now with my setup. During day 70 I farmed Souls of Light for other boss summons. And twins invaded me during nighttime as I was getting ready to call them. It's perfect timing actually. Fight was going very well, and then somehow I choked on a very important part where one of the twins was supposed to die. I won't lie to you, I was a bit mad after that fail, so I spent rest of the night fishing. Do you know what I like to see after a nice chill fishing session? A good old pirate invasion. I'm pretty sure that's everyone's favorite event in Terraria. But do you know what would make this day even better? If I would get invaded by twins in the same time as pirate invasion happened. After a whole day of struggling, pirates were defeated. There is not much to say about day 72. During day I brewed potions for upcoming fights, and then I decided to try and fight Skeletron Prime, since usually he is the easiest mech bosses to fight. Well, that's not the case in Legendary Mode, I learned that the hard way. It seems like killing twins first is the right play in Legendary Mode, and for that I need more Souls of Light. Today was time to kill Queen Slime. I died 3 times in a row, but that didn't break my spirit. This was without doubt the most intense boss fight so far. I barely killed her. Afterwards I took on twins, surely they will die now. Okay, maybe arena is too small, I'll just make it bigger until next fight. On day 74 I made a very big arena, surely fights won't be a problem now. Back to grinding souls, I guess. But why farm souls manually, when you can just finish mob farm and get them while being AFK? By end of the day, farm was finished. Only problem is that bats don't die, and they cram up mob spawns. On day 76 I fixed the problem by making another lava trap above the collection system. I took on Destroyer again but failed miserably. However, twins were different story. They were supposed to die, but I ran out of time, so they ran away in the morning. On day 77 I farmed Hallowed Mimics for Daedalus Stormbow. Funnily enough, I didn't use it in a single boss fight. This night twins didn't stand a chance, they were defeated without any major issues. With twins drops I was able to craft Excalibur. That sword easily has the best swinging animation in Terraria. However, reforging it was a bitch. It cost too much money. Later I replaced Hallowed Biome with a Crimson one in a mob farm, then I left the game running in background for 2 days. On day 80 I farmed Crimson Mimics, because they drop a very important accessory for melee class called Flesh Knuckles. It has 1 in 4 drop rate, surely it won't take too long to get one, right? During night time I tried to kill Destroyer twice. Damage with Excalibur is decent, I am on the right track to defeat it soon. On day 81 I finally got Flesh Knuckles. This was very time consuming. because of the amount of Souls of Night I had to farm. It took 12 Crimson Mimic skills to get one. 1 in 4 dropped my ass. Today I crafted a new melee accessory called Berserker Glove. That's why I needed Flesh Knuckles. Also, while I was fishing, I got lucky enough to open Enchanted Sundial in one of the crates. This grants me an ability to skip through entire day, but there won't be any skippings going on here, because I still gotta fight Destroyer and Skeleton Prime during night time. Later I made a graveyard biome next to a Dryad, that way she can start selling corruption seeds. And that brings us to day 83. I used those seeds to make artificial corruption biome, however it still needs some time to grow. During nighttime I tried to kill Destroyer 3 more times, but failed to do so once again. In the meantime, corruption spread enough that now I'm able to fish for Ebon Koi, an important ingredient needed for new potions. Day 84 was very short day. I worked on expanding a platform, and when I recalled back to base I activated Enchanted Sundial by accident. Then Solar Eclipse started. It's honestly not even that bad with Excalibur. I died a few times, but I earned decent money and couple of accessories which I don't really need now. And to no one's surprise, later I died to Destroyer 3 more times. During day 86 I was basically monkeying around not doing anything. But I discovered something very important while I fought Destroyer. When you teleport away during fighting him, he doesn't despawn, even if it's on the other side of the map. This is something I should utilize if I want to destroy him. Although this night it was him who did the destroying part 3 times again. On day 87, I went to jungle to take back Best Statue and 1 Life Fruit. I shimmered that Life Fruit for permanent defense buff. It's not much, but every bit should help. In fact, this helped a lot considering that probes barely deal any damage now, and because of that, Destroyer was finally defeated. On day 88 I made a new weapon called Light Disc. I actually thought that was Yo-Yo weapon, so I spent entire day looking for Skeleton Merchant, because he's selling Yo-Yo accessories. When nighttime arrived I realized it was huge waste of time. Anyways, now it's time to fight Skeleton Prime, so here is a montage again, I guess. With Skeleton Prime defeated, we enter a new stage where Plantera can spawn. Realistically, there isn't enough time to prepare to fight her, so I'll just do some chill building until the end of the challenge. I started digging a really big hole for the next build. It just blew my mind how fast new pickaxe is. This isn't edited speed, by the way. Afterwards I went in jungle to mine some chlorophyte as well. I thought this place would be dangerous in Legendary Mode, but not with this mining speed, guys. With new chlorophyte ores I was able to make a new armor and a true Excalibur. On day 95 I added one layer of rooms, where I decided to display all armors that were obtained during the entire run. Reason why this took me whole day is because I couldn't make up my mind with which blocks to use for a build. On next day I did a similar thing, just with golden bricks this time. Honestly, it's nothing special. Just a small area to display some cool critters I got. On day 97 I realized we had lack of herbs for potions, so I made a better herb farm. It's basically a big glass house, full of plants and all potion ingredients which I will need in future. If I learned one thing in Legendary Mode, then it's that you run out of potions really fast. While we are on topic of crafting potions, it was good time to craft a couple of biome site potions. I also bought a contaminator from Steampunker because I wanted to purify our entire Crimson biome, which is next to my main base. This took me a whole day. On day 99 I found out that somehow Crimson biome managed to spread below my main base. It actually spread a lot more than I anticipated. And then during night Blood Moon started. I actually farmed it for the rest of the night because I was out of bloody tears. Luckily I got one, and that lets me summon Blood Moon event whenever I want to. And it's officially last day of this challenge. And today I wanted to do something that I find extremely fun. That's mining, of course. I didn't stop it until I got enough life fruits to max out my HP. Afterwards I called a destroyer. It's only logical to test out new gear and setup on a boss that I struggled on the most. Fight was actually super easy. With destroyer's loot I was able to make a true Knight's Edge and Avenger emblem. And honestly that's it for now. If you watched so far, I thank you, it really means a lot to me. This kind of videos take me a long time to make. So in case enough people watch and like this video, I will probably make a part 2. Thank you again for your time, and I will see you some other time.